For more on that massive Tel Aviv anti-government response demonstration, I'm joined by Zaki, who's the chairman of the Meretz Party Executive Board and someone who was at that demonstration last night. Also joining me is Mr. Michael Kleiner, former Likud Party Knesset member, now a president of the Likud Party Supreme Court. Gentlemen, both of you, thank you so much for being with me. Ori, I want to start with you and get your reaction to what the Deputy Health Minister just said, Yoav Kish. He said that two things can be true. The economy is suffering, that there's hundreds of thousands of unemployed Israelis who need action, but that the protest was, quote, a health terror attack, end quote. A health terror attack. You were there. What's your reaction to that?
Look, I think it's a poor reaction. I was there. I was identifying with the struggle. I'm, I don't own my own business, and most of that rally was for folks who own their own businesses and are now in horrible situation. We also know that there are many people who are unemployed at the moment. So there's a huge economical crisis here right now, and the government, at least so far, hasn't done enough. With regard to the health situation at the rally itself, look, people came there with pain. I came there with my baby daughter, who's she's going to be 5 months old this week. And we kept spaces between us. We didn't stand by people. There was, you could maintain the health. But look, many people there were angry, were anxious. They saw what happened to them in the last 4 months. And, when something like that happens in a democracy, you can't, say, oh, don't manifest your anger. Don't manifest your frustration against me, against the government. This is the deputy health minister because of the health hazards. If the health hazards and we're all respecting them and trying to do the best in order to keep ourselves safe, but the government hasn't done anything so far. I really hope that this program will shift the situation, because we saw there people who are panicking on their own situation, on their own present and future.
Mr. Kleiner, your response here to what Ori just said, that the government hasn't done anything. People are desperate. They are panicking about paying rent and putting food on the table, that there's no responsibility from the Prime Minister for what's happening.
First of all, demonstration is something that is allowed in a democracy, unless it endangers human life of the demonstrators. And I want to hope that it was necessary. I hardly understand, after the press conference of the Minister of Finance and the Prime Minister a day earlier, if it was so necessary to endanger so many people, and if the police said that 1,800 people can come to demonstrate, I believe they would have gave expression to the anxieties, understood and natural anxieties of the public, of hundreds of thousands of people, because of the coronavirus, lost jobs as employees, as business owners. And the government is doing everything to give them a network and to give them enough money to survive until there will be a bigger economic solution within the budget that will be presented in the next few days. It's a time for solidarity. We are all one nation. Some people continue to get salaries. Other people have no money to finish the month, as we say in Hebrew, and buy food. So those who got salaries in the public service and in the private sector, and not only that their free income didn't go down, it went up, because, we cannot spend today. No trips abroad, no cultural expenses. So people have more free money, and I believe everybody must put his hand in the pocket to help those that are suffering, people who were in the demonstration, and those others in the same situation who stayed in home and identify themselves with the demonstration.
Or Mr. Kleiner just said the government is doing everything. It's doing everything it can to recognize the challenges that these people are facing.
Let's watch only what the prime minister was involved with last week, when we already know that there is a second outbreak. He was worried about putting together a committee that would investigate into the Israeli judiciary's hidden interest or whatever. This is and this is the prime minister in the last 2 months when we finished the first wave of the coronavirus. Instead of dealing only with the coronavirus, first put together a huge government, the most expensive government we ever had, with 35 ministers. Then took interest into the annexation, which is so much not only irrelevant but dangerous to the Israeli economy in the respect of potential influence on the Israeli economy because of our ties with nations around the world. And of course, with his own tax relief, he voted in the Knesset 1 million shekel personal to Benjamin Netanyahu and his family tax relief. That's what he was engaged with, instead of dealing with stopping the corona and giving what is necessary, like other nations did. You know, if you compare Israel treatment so far, it's so much behind with other democracies who opened their pockets after, Israel had very good 10 years of economical prosperity under Netanyahu. I say that. But after prosperity, you have to open your pockets in time of crisis, and you have to deal with it. You have to focus on it instead of dealing with your own personal legal issues, financial issues, and a crazy program called the annexation, instead of dealing only with the coronavirus and its effects, the health effects and the economical effects.
Mr. Kleiner, your response.
Okay. First of all, the discussion about the conflicting interest of the judges was an offer to the Knesset made by an opposition party, and the Knesset deals with what the opposition party wants to do.
But the prime minister can say, "I'm not dealing with this now."
And the majority of the coalition, at the end of the day, after a debate, it didn't approve this proposal to discuss at this time on the problems of the judges. This is number one. Number two is the debate about the historical decision of imposing the Israeli law on Judea and Samaria is something that has a big importance, and we hope that it can be done parallel to the dealing with the coronavirus. By the way, there were also some activities in Iran here from foreign press. Maybe we should stop also the activities in Iran because we have corona. Israel goes along with the life, and the Ministry of Finance prepared a very comprehensive, satisfactory program to help those all hundreds of thousands of people who need money to survive until this crisis is over.
All right, Ori.
Look, again, this government was formed as an emergency government to deal with the coronavirus. All of us read in the paper in the Yediot Achronot.
So we have to do nothing, stop every other activities,
leading papers
not attacking in Iran.
This government, how much Benjamin Netanyahu himself and the health system in Israel were brought programs how to deal with stopping the virus and just ignored it, put it aside. This prime minister is heavily personally involved with his own legal issues. He's involved with trying to deal with Trump in his last months, perhaps in power, instead of dealing only with the coronavirus. An emergency government should have been a very small government of experts. And this is not only Netanyahu; it's also Benny Gantz, who joined the government in order to beat Corona. And instead of that, he's also dealing with issues which are not relevant. What should be done now is first to have this financial program in power, not only in statements, but actually when people are getting their benefits, not only self-employed folks, but also people who are not only business owners, but also many people who lost their jobs. They should be dealt with. Nothing else should be on the table, at least, Michael, not security issues. That's a different story. Anything else should not be on the table for the foreseeable future for at least 6 months. Only dealing with the coronavirus. This is a major crisis for Israel. We're already behind all other democracies. We started well because Netanyahu imposed a closure very early in the game, but then he just when he had his new government. He forgot all about it. And now we're in deep trouble. And he has to put all his energy, Benny Gantz, all of us,
Okay,
position called
Mr. Kleiner,
only dealing with this crisis.
is Israel in deep trouble?
First of all, we are, I don't know, in trouble is a big word. We have a problem. We have to fight with the coronavirus on one hand without harming the economy. We cannot fight the corona as if there is no unemployment, and we have to fight unemployment as if there is no corona, and find the correct balance. We have experience. We see how other countries dealt with. I believe that still our health system is better than most health systems in the world. You see this in the results. I know many people are infected, but still the results of people who are heavily ill is much, much smaller than other countries, and we hope to continue to have this. On the other hand, we have to do the things that will keep our economy alive, because also the unemployment is a danger, and in complex situation, you have to give answers to many issues. And also, my friend Uri Zaki, life must continue. We have a democracy. We now go to the Knesset to approve decisions that once were easier when there was an interim government, and you should be proud about it. And if opposition raises an issue of corruption of judges with a heavy issue, so we have to give them the respect to debate it. And the majority in the Knesset decided that we will do it later, or not through an inquiry committee, because we hope, everyone hopes that all those disorders are only technical and don't cover something deeper.
We'll have to leave it here. Mr. Uri Zaki and Mr. Michael Kleiner, gentlemen, both of you, thank you so much for the discussion. Really appreciate your perspectives. Great to have you on the program today.